Me and Steely Dan cruising down the highway in a zen-like trance, keeping up with traffic. Someone's on my tail, breaks me out of my spell. He blows right by with a fist waving, he was yelling. He caught me thinking, life's too short, even if you live a long, long time. These days, here's what's been on my mind. Something's lost, something's broken. 'Cause if we're all really sisters and brothers, why deny the hearts of supposed others? Oh, say, can it be we've forgotten? I think our village got lost when we moved to the city, disconnected from humanity. Such a cost when we lost our village. We lost our village. It takes a village to raise one another, always extra parents there to cover necessity. It's the mother of connection. In the village, it's not you versus me, no denying anybody's right to be, whether black or white, any color or complexion. 'Cause if we're all really sisters and brothers, why deny the hearts of supposed others? Oh, say, can it be we've forgotten? I think our village got lost when we moved to the city, disconnected from humanity. Such a cost when we lost our village. We lost our village. Now we can spend our days into the night, bleary-eyed, glued to electric lights, addicted to some social connection, where we can find anybody to take our side and bully the others on their different rides. It's a new disease called polarization. So come on, people, now walk in each other's shoes. Without a whole lot of love in our heart, we've got everything to lose. A reliance, well, it ain't no luxury. There's that loving thread connecting you and me. Maybe you're thinking that life's too short, even if you live a long, long time. Has it been there on your mind? Can we awaken? 'Cause if we're all really sisters and brothers, why deny the hearts of supposed others? Oh, say, can you see, have we forgotten? I think our village got lost when we moved to the city, disconnected from humanity. Such a cost when we lost, such a cost when we lost, when we lost our village. We lost our village. Perhaps this is our village, you know? We got a few of them. This is a good one, right? Thanks. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yes. Great work. Wasn't there supposed to be a community song?
Well, we'll do one way.
Another time.
Surprise, surprise, and the biggest surprise is I didn't know I was doing this today. So, you're welcome, but don't be too thankful too quickly. I was planning on coming and sitting in the back and taking a nap. I am still not quite here, but for you, I'm going to give my best. So, good morning.
Good morning.
And we had, the other surprise was, And Jerry, I'm not quite sure how this worked, but you arrived without Beth, called her, and she says, well, you have my car, right?
I knew I had her car before that.
Well, it's lovely you're here, and Beth, wherever you are. So again, good morning. I'm going to behave now. I'm blurry. The words are blurry, but we're going to get through this. So again, good morning, everyone, here in the sanctuary and online, and especially you, Beth. We welcome you and greet you in the warm and loving spirit of unity, in the recognition of unity and all people and communities of faith throughout the world. In unity, we bless and embrace people of every race, culture, lifestyle, and creed. We honor and celebrate the many paths of God and many names of God and the many ways in which we experience God. We affirm there is only one presence, one power active in your life and mine, God the good, omnipotent. And now, Richard, are you awake too? Come on up.
Morning, Steve. Yes. Good morning to all of you and those of you in cyberspace. Today's daily word is joy. God's joy blesses each day of my life. The aroma of my favorite foods from childhood brings a happy memory to mind. Hearing the voice of a dear one warms my heart. Looking upon a newborn's face for the first time evokes a feeling words can't seem to describe. While the giddy excitement of a child's joy may now be a memory, the joy I know today still delights me. Each day I embrace more completely the joy of knowing I am a living expression of God. God's life lives in me and as me. God's wisdom is within me, my guide to a deepening understanding of myself and the world around me. The love I share with people who are dear to me is God's love, living in each heart and expressing as each of us. What greater joy could there be? And from 1 Thessalonians 5:15, rejoice always.
You do that so well. Welcome all again. I want to thank so many people that give their time, love, presence. Ellen and Andrew. And are you doing this morning, Chris, or is it Carol that's greeting? Chris is greeting. Thank you. And then, of course, Steve, thank you. Really appreciate you. And also, we have a really lovely treat today with Reverend Frank is going to be our special speaker from Unity Bellingham. That's where he's coming from. And I'll share a little bit about him in a moment. But right now, we have announcements that are back at the back of your program. And just the more important highlights of the prayer team, just as a reminder, we, Betsy, Chris, Beth. Anyway, the team is every day devoted to that time for you. So it's a reminder that don't be shy about asking for prayer support. The box is in the back. And we pray every day for 30 days on those requests. And then they go on to Silent Unity and are prayed from a very powerful team for the next 30 days. So we don't have any classes going on right now, but we do have one announcement from our kitchen angel. Yes, profusely.
Well, I'm not used to, coming up here, but here's the deal. Next week is potluck. Get ready. And I won't be here. And so I want those who have some experience in the kitchen, and I'm looking at some of you, to be sure and help out. I believe Lynn will be here. Well, next week. Yeah, okay. But there will be coffee making lessons after the. I understand there was a problem last week. So I want multiple people to at least know how things operate and where things are. And I will miss you, but I have something that happens on that date that doesn't move for me. And so I want you to be prepared. So thank you.
Thank you, Gail. You are appreciated. You truly wear that halo. Reverend Frank has served as minister of Unity in Bellingham since 2021. And Reverend Frank appreciates the practical spirituality that Unity offers, loves to engage with others in our common and wild path of evolving in consciousness. He and his wife Diane have been enjoying the Pacific Northwest, having come from the Sierra foothills in California, and the wonderful vibe and the kind people and natural beauty of our new home and your new home. Welcome. So we're going to prepare for meditation and then move on from there. And now I'm going to go be quiet.
So we'll call this a community song. How's that? Although the last one, you got me thinking. It was about a village, community. I guess it was, but it wasn't a sing-along, you know? This one, feel free to sing along. The words are, I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. Something like that. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. It'll come up later in the song. Too often I'm reminded that it's darkest before the dawn. Thank God my soul's not blinded, that we're all expressions of the loving one, and that there is no other, just the one, there is no other, only the one. And now I'm digging down through layers. We've all got that spark inside. when my candle's just a flicker. Let my oneness find me where the love resides, where there is no other. Though we are sisters and brothers, there is no other, only the one. Only the one. Only the one. And when my fear fogs my eyes and my tears they only burn, I pray for memory from the other side, where that brilliant light of love returns, where there is no other. Though we are sisters and brothers, there is no other, just the one. There is no other. We may be fighters or lovers, but there is no other, only the one. Because I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am. I am, oh I am, let me remember that I am, that I am, that I am. Oh, there is no other, there is no other, there is no other, just the one, only the one, there is no other, we are the one.
Yes, and we stay in that energy that there is no other. There's just the one. There's only the harmony of all things that come together into the one. So let's take a moment now and pray together. If you would, just allow your feet to sit comfortably on the floor for a moment. Maybe loosen your shoulders and let the tension run out of your shoulders and run down your arms, and just let your fingers relax on your lap. And I invite you to sink into the temple of your heart. Just sit now with the energy in the temple of your heart. Go to that temple, that sacred space. That space of, as Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, said, that place of harmony, love and harmony, synonyms. Where all things come together, the things that we think are wonderful, and also the things we see as great challenges, they come together into this temple of our hearts, where divine order brings all things together into harmony to be blessed, to be transformed. And sometimes we, in this place, in this temple of our hearts, we can't always make sense of what's coming at us. We don't always see the purpose. We don't always know. It's very mysterious. Why this? Why is this coming into our lives? And we allow all things to come into that temple of our hearts, to be harmonized, to be blessed, to be transformed. And in that temple of our hearts, now we we open and allow all the things and the people and the circumstances we would like to pray for to be present in this temple. We hold Linda and Kay, and hold my friends Deborah and Greg, and so many others. And there could be things I bring into this temple, great joys, great things I'm so grateful for. And we can bring into this temple the things that are seeming challenges that we just need to bring into prayer. And so I invite you now, for whatever circumstances you are holding in your hearts, to feel free to say them out loud into the room now, to be held by this community. Feel free to say them out loud. Yeah. For all these people, for all these situations, for all these circumstances, do you feel them being held by your community? We hold them all for each other, with each other. We allow Spirit to move through us, to transform and to bring new light and new energies and new insights, and sometimes just acceptance, just allowance. Just allowance. So with your in-breath now, I invite you to say to yourself, with each in-breath, I achieve harmony in divine order. Again, as you breathe in, I achieve harmony in divine order. And with this breath in, I embrace the harmony and divine order. I now add to that, I am alive here for God's purpose. So in breath, I achieve harmony and divine order. I am here to express God's good purpose. And I achieve harmony and divine order. And I express God's good purpose. One more deep breath. I achieve harmony in divine order. I express God's good purpose. And now a couple breaths on your own in the silence, in the precious silence. On your in-breath, your next in-breath, I achieve harmony in divine order. I express God's good purpose. And now wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, shrug your shoulders once. We come back to this space for this piece of meditation music.
Words I have to say may well be simple, but they're true. Till you give your love, there's nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. There's no other way, and now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? La da 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 da, la da 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 da. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen?
Wow, thank you so much. What a gift. Whoa, so fortunate. He started his first song talking about Steely Dan, and I've been having like songs from Asia running through my head the whole morning, so thanks for that, man. So I want to start with a piece from the Tao Te Ching, because it's, first off, what's the talk title? I look it up. What am I talking about? The energy the view that calls us together. What is the view that calls us together? I love that idea. And sort of the genesis is, we have these pillars in unity. We call them the 5 different pillars. And one of them is this notion of idea, inclusivity, diversity, equity, accessibility, idea. And I was thinking about this whole notion of inclusivity and trying to make sense of inclusivity. And we talk about inclusivity in communities. And also, I thought about inclusivity in our consciousness. Because isn't that where it starts anyhow? It's in our consciousness. I mean, what we're doing out here that's inclusive or not, all has its start up in our awareness, in our consciousness, and how we determine to show up. So I wanted to focus on that today, and a little piece from the Tao. And it goes something like this. The Tao, and we'll talk about what that is in a second. The Tao gives birth to the One, and the One gives birth to 2, and the 2 gives birth to 3, and the 3 gives birth to the 10,000 things. You know this one. Yeah. The 10,000 things, they carry yin. You're going to do this, so you might practice now. Yeah. Carry yin, and they embrace the yang, and they achieve harmony by combining these forces. Okay, I'll say it again, then we're going to stand up and do it together because it's fun and it's good, and we need to, and it's the way to learn it. Okay, so the Tao gives birth to the One, and the 1 gives birth to the 2, and the 2 gives birth to the 3, and the 3 gives birth to the 10,000 things. The 10,000 things, they embrace, they carry the yin, and they embrace the yang, and they achieve harmony, hold your heart, by combining these forces. Okay, stand up, let's try it. Okay. You ready? 1, 2, 3. The Tao gives birth to the 1. The 1 gives birth to the 2. The 2 gives birth to the 3. And the 3 gives birth to the 10,000 things. The 10,000 things, they cradle the yin and they embrace the yang. And they achieve harmony in your heart. They achieve harmony. Why? They combine these forces. They combine them. The yin and the yang. Want to do it one more time? Since we're standing. Okay, let's get it. Okay, ready? The Tao gives birth to the 1. The 1 gives birth to the 2. The 2 gives birth to the 3. And the 3 gives birth to the 10,000 things. Yeah, that's everything. The 10,000 things, they cradle the yin and they embrace the yang. And they achieve harmony by combining these forces. Wow. Yeah. Didn't we hear today about harmony, about divine order? In our prayer we talked about, we want the world to be all the good stuff. Yeah, we want the yin, but the other stuff, yeah. Well, we can maybe we can pray that away or get rid of it or ignore it or affirm it away or deny, the whole thing. But the Tao, now the Tao is an interesting concept. And of course, you know what they say about the Tao. If you can talk about it, you don't got it, right? So it's always funny to talk about these things. There's a medieval mystic in the Christ tradition. His name was Meister Eckhart. Name ring a bell? Yeah, Meister Eckhart. And he has this sense of, we always talk about God, but he had another term. He said, we can talk about God, and that's something, that's the one, that's the thing we talk about, but there's something else that's beyond that we can't talk about. And he said, I don't know, let's call it the Godhead. The thing that's beyond, the thing that I can tell you there's a Godhead, I can tell you there's a Genesis, I can tell you there's this transcendent reality, but I can't tell you anything about it because as soon as I do, I've not told you about it because it's beyond what I can tell you about. So that thing I can't even talk about, we'll call it the Godhead or we'll call it the Tao, does show up, and you see this pattern, right? This pattern of connecting with the eternal side of our nature, reaching towards that eternal Tao, that eternal mystery, that eternal ultimate oneness that we come from and we return to, and is the nature and the very essence of our souls, if you will. And it comes from that Tao, that unnameable Godhead, and it comes into the One, which maybe you can call God or Allah or Buddha or source energy. But now we can talk about it because it's the One, and the One becomes the Two. Well, that's good, and and there's all sorts of esoteric things that also talk about the Kabbalah, the esoteric religions from the Christ tradition, and all of that. The Two then become the Three, and you can think Trinity, you can think this expansion, and the Three become eventually maybe they become the 6, and they become the 9, they become the 24. But anyhow, let's just skip to the chase. It becomes all things, the 10,000 things, the all of it. You see the pattern here, the transcendent to the eternal, and how it plays out in the finite. And it plays out in the finite. And what's interesting and what I love about the Tao is then about this passage, it talks about these energies. I said yin and yang, I heard people say yin and yang, and but what we're these play of energies, which we're going to get to in a minute because I have a great story that talks about energies playing out. And then these two energies, they achieve harmony by combining them. Do you ever see I'm going to throw something away? What are you going to do? I'm going to throw it away. Where's away? Well, it's away. Where's away? It's, away. There's no away. There is no away. You throw something away, where does it go? It just goes down the road to the landfill. Maybe it's away because it's not in your house. There's no away on this planet. There's no, you can't say, well, them, forget them. They're out of my life. They're gone. Well, are they? I mean, they still live in the same place. They're just, when we push somebody away, where do we push them? There's no away. The answer isn't saying, I want to live in yin. I don't want yang. I'll throw yang away. That harmony comes in the combining of things, the recognition of things, the harmonization of things. There is no way. There's no saying, well, that part, just ignore it, toss it out, deny. We'll talk about denials. There's something beautiful about denials. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like just this energy and this balance of getting rid of things, this idea that it's even possible. And I would say, there's an energy that's not possible. And the solution is sinking into the temple of our hearts like we did in the prayer and finding all of it and finding the balance and the blessing and the transformation of things, even the things we don't like, even the diagnoses we don't like, even the news we don't like, even the guy who passes us on the road. And it's like, you just go on, but you're on the road and you call up somebody and you go, oh, I'm going to be late, I'm in traffic. And they go, oh, you're in traffic, yeah. But you know that the person in the car next to you is looking at you and going to their partner, I'm going to be late because I'm caught in traffic. And they're pointing at you. And you're pointing at them. So here's the question, who's the traffic? If you're in it, you're it. You're it. If you're in it, you're it. If it's passing through you and it's in your world, it's not something that you can say, that's that, we're it. We're in it. It's part of our experience. It's part of what's coming to us to be transformed and to be blessed and to be brought into divine harmony, into divine order. It's it. So there's things we hear and things that happen to us and things we love and things we don't like, and it's all about the harmonization of things. So here's a story. And this is a story that comes from the Christ tradition. And I want to tell you, and I'm going to end this talk. How will we end it? We can do this Tao thing again. But I have a question for you to end this talk. And I'm going to ask you, it's a story that comes from the Gospel of John, out of the Christ tradition. And I want to ask you when we end, what should the name of this story be? Okay? That's the quiz. So if you look it up, it comes from, and it's kind of interesting because initial copies of John don't have this story, some of the earliest ones. And sometimes they found it in the Gospel of Luke, and then it turned up in the Gospel of John. So it's kind of this interesting little snippet that the oral tradition of this early movement, this movement of the way, as they call themselves, this movement had this story and then realized, oh, we didn't write it down anywhere, so we got to put it in a story. So they put it in the Gospel of John. That's now where you can find it. And if you look it up, there was never titles. When you look in a Bible, there's, you go to a section and it has a section title. But there was no section titles. We've added those. And the numbers, we added those. Those are just whoever was transcribing this thing and ever translating it, they added those titles. So I looked in a bunch of different, I have stacks of Bibles, of course, and one of them says, and it's called The Woman Caught in Adultery. And then another one I saw said, The Adulterer. And then I saw another one, again, it had something like, The Lady in Adultery. And then there's a new version that's out, and it's the Charles Fillmore Study version. And some people, some group of ministers, a guy named Mark Hicks and some other people, I don't know if you've seen this, but they've put together a Bible, and all the commentary is everything they could find from all the writings of Myrtle and Charles Fillmore over the year, Butterworth and some other people. If they found anywhere in the writings where they commented on those pieces, they put the commentary in this Fillmore Study Bible. And the Fillmore Bible, the Unity one, named this story something else. They named it Throwing Stones. Really different. Yeah. So to make sense of this and to see where we're going, so remember, you're thinking, what should we call this thing? And here's how the story goes. Let me give you the backstory first, so you kind of know where we're at. There's a big celebration up in Jerusalem, and it's called the Festival of the Booths. And what happens at this celebration is the people would celebrate their time moving across the desert in the 40 years where they were in exile, the Hebrew people. And so they rebuild a booth so they can remember this is what it's like to live out in the wilderness, and just a little booth with pine trees and pine branches and stuff to sort of remember. And then it got to be this huge festival. I mean, it's like they light candles, they stay up late, there's bonfires, there's lots of food, and it's a big cultural celebration. So the disciples go, hey, let's go up to Jerusalem and let's celebrate this big festival of the booths. And Jesus says, nah, I'm not going to go. You guys go. I'm going to stay here. Go on. I'll catch up to you later or whatever. So they all go off, and he hides himself. He just, kind of puts up a cloak, or in some ways doesn't let anyone know who he is. And he goes up anyhow, and he goes up to this place called the Mount of Olives. And here's where the story starts. So early in the next morning, Jesus gets up from the Mount of Olives, and he goes down in Jerusalem, and he starts to teach. Now, if he was hiding himself, he's now revealed himself, obviously. So he starts to teach in the temple. And some people see he's there, and they want to trap him. So they take this woman who had been caught, like actually caught, in the act of adultery, and they bring her forward, and they throw her down. And they say, Master, this woman was caught in the very act of adultery. The law of Moses says that we should stone her. So what do you say? And of course, he says this to him because they're trying to trap him. The whole point is they're trying to trap him. Yeah. And so Jesus, he gets down on his knees and he starts drawing in the sand. Just starts writing in the sand. Well, these people are getting a little exacerbated, right? And they look over and they go, well? And he stands up and he says, okay, all of you who have done no sin, go ahead, throw a stone. And he gets back down, he starts writing again. And one by one, starting with the oldest, then down to the youngest, they walked away. So there was no one there but just him and the woman. So he walks over to her and he says, woman, is there no one here left to condemn you? And she looks around, she goes, no one, sir. He goes, yeah, I don't condemn you either. Oh, and by the way, don't do that sin anymore. End of story. Isn't that amazing? So I wondered, first off, we'll get to this in a minute. Here's another question I want to ask you in about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something soon. What was he writing in the dirt? What was he writing in the dirt? What was he writing in the dirt? So then I thought, well, in those days, let me tell you a little bit about this. By the way, I looked up the law of Moses about stoning people caught in the act. And by the way, you brought both the man and the woman forward. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Right. And the other thing is, she says you don't do it by yourself. I mean, somebody's just got to say these stories out loud to believe the gall of these people, Like, oh my God, really? Yeah. And, some of these Jesus went down, and I kind of feel like he's going, oh, are you kidding me? Really? This is really happening? And by the way, this was under Roman-occupied Jerusalem at the time, and the Romans would not, you could probably have tried to stone somebody, but they would have come down on you very quickly because they didn't allow the local people to do capital punishment. Only the Romans could do that. So the idea that it could have actually occurred, not likely. And where's the guy? I don't know. And I wondered too, check this out. I mean, did this happen yesterday? A week ago? A month ago? Last year? How long have they been holding this grudge? How long have they been holding this against her? Like, step out of line one more time, and I know what happened to you, and we'll pull you right in front of all the officials and watch what happens. We don't do that, do we? Yeah. So, as we hear this story, and you get a little mad at these guys for throwing this woman down. And you kind of feel like, in this story, it always feels sort of like the woman's kind of like the victim and kind of a good guy, And that guy who threw her down and was all judgmental, what a jerk, kind of he's the bad guy in the story. But how many of us have been holding a grudge for plenty long time? All self-righteous, all for sure that we're right. You were wrong and I'm right. Of course, you know what they say, you can either be right or you can be in a relationship, or you can be happy. Pick. You can pick. Well, this guy, this scribe, or these scribes came up. They were much more interested in being right and making a point or catching this person in an act than they were in being in any kind of relationship with this woman. And I just wonder, it occurred to me driving over here, this might have happened 5 years ago. The guy might be dead. I mean, he might be gone, or he might have moved out. Who knows? But they were carrying that grudge to the bitter end. So I wondered, what if we did this a little different? What if, instead of this big dramatic scene in the temple of Jerusalem, what if we said, hey, you guys have an issue, so I'm going to ask you all to get together for a little conference. I'm going to ask this woman to sit here, and we'll ask Jesus to sit in the middle, and we'll ask this scribe guy with the stone to sit over here, and let him have a little conversation. So first off, who is this person who's been pulled up? And I put the symbol here because I get the sense that, just a bowl of water, because I get the sense that this woman who was pulled up here, who was acting out of a certain energy, that she was acting out of this energy of emotional connection. I don't know her backstory. We don't know. But is it possible, and you can throw out what you think, is it possible that at this time she was making something up. She was a young person, married to someone much older. She was part of a multiple wives. She felt in a loveless relationship, and she was feeling despairing. She was feeling alone. Maybe she was childless, and in those times you needed to, in that culture, you needed to find someone to raise a family with. Then in some ways, she was really not in a good place in her relationship. And at the time, in Jerusalem, in the turn of the first century ever, what was her options? I mean, and I'm not trying to say, defending any kind of act of adultery or something like that. But I just wonder, what's her story? And was she acting out of this energy of a certain kind of emotional connection that actually even had a certain kind of wisdom to it, a certain kind of emotional gut. I want to put my life in order. Do you see what I'm doing? This is the energy of the chakra system and the 12 powers. We call this wisdom. We call this order. We call this life. That's Fillmore's 12 powers, right? Did she somehow represent the fullness of this energy that wanted to move forward to a greater life for herself, for greater connectivity, for a deeper sense of connection? And when she's out, I don't know who she was with. Was it her person that she was connected with before she was forced into a marriage that she didn't want? I'm making this up. I don't know. They don't tell you the whole story, but I wonder, because at those times, to be a woman caught in adultery was really severe. I mean, there really was laws in the book. You really be alienated from your community. You were really, in a sense, of put down, and it could be severe. But what was it that drove her forward into looking for this other relationship? And something about just this fullness of this, and I put water because there's this symbol of water that I want to be clean. I want to be washed. I want to be full. I want my wisdom to go forward. But water is also very, very strong. I mean, you look at the hurricanes. Look at when a dam breaks. Look at a flood. Waters are very destructive as well as purifying and clean. It's a very interesting energy when you look at water. And I want to submit that maybe while I understand why she was going forward with this energy, maybe she didn't think it out too well. Maybe she just didn't quite think it out well enough. Like, what's going to be the ultimate consequence of my life in this situation? And is there another way I could fulfill this wisdom, this nurturing, this going forward in a way that in my culture I might be safer, I might be smarter, there might be a way I can understand it and move forward different. And so she's living out of this beautiful energy. And also I love that in the story it's a woman. Because in this system, a woman, oftentimes when you read the scripture stories and you see there's a man and a woman, you got to think the woman represents a soul energy and an emotional energy and a feeling energy that they use men and women, meaning masculine and feminine energy, and we all, men and women, have masculine and feminine energy. This story's for all of us. All these people are who? Us. All these people are us. So that's what I wonder about her. This beautiful wisdom, soulful. I want the fullness of life. But maybe didn't quite think it out well enough. And then I think about this guy, this scribe. I put rocks here. Of course, the rocks I brought say things like life and truth, and they have a heart and peace. This is the rocks laying around my house. But anyhow, just the idea of these rocks. And by the way, in the story, he says the law of Moses says to stone her. What do you say? There's never any actual, in the story, threat. Nobody actually has a rock. No one says they're winding up the throw. They just want to trap Jesus. But I put this rock, this solid energy, and I think about what could be the story of this scribe. What's his deal? And given him a bit of the benefit of the doubt, and he says he's trying to trap Jesus, but why would he do that? And I think of a person at the time saying, look, we live in a city that's occupied, and our only chance as a culture, as a community, to stick together, to really work together, to be a solid community that can survive this Roman occupation, is we've got our law, we've got our rules, we've got our community agreements. And she's breaking them, man. And if we don't keep our agreements, if we don't stay together tight with our understanding and our way of looking at the world, what's going to happen to us? I mean, I'm sort of defending him, like stuff like this, what she's doing, it upsets the apple cart. And the last thing we need under our Roman occupation is for us not to get along and have our identification of these people that have this law, this rule, this way of living, this way of being together. Now, he says he's trapping Jesus, but even people got mad at Jesus. It's like, man, what are you doing? Either drive the Romans out or stop, kicking the hornet's nest. What is going on? And so there's a sense that you can almost feel for this person, maybe, and saying, I want to live in something that's solid. I want to know the truth. I want to know the rules. I want to know how it works. I want to understand it all. Don't tell me about mystery. Just give me the rules. And there's something really beautiful about that. There's a real powerful truth in trying to get that solidity and trying to understand the process and understanding consequences to actions. And wanting to be a community that works together in some way with bylaws and rules. And, we have bylaws for a reason. But the challenge here is, he was all up here. In this chakra system, this energy, understanding, and he had this deep sort of a faith, if you will, but what he was missing is what she had, and what she was missing is what he had, and now they're like at each other and fighting. The 10,000 things achieve harmony. They cradle the yin. And they embrace the yang. And they achieve harmony by combining these forces. You see it? They achieve harmony by combining the forces. And into this comes this other energy. By the way, my wife just finished this quilt the other day. Sorry. Isn't that nice? Yeah, I know. Way to go, Diane. I'm always showing off her stuff, yeah. So I need something white for the chair. And I'm going down in her quilt shop, Ooh, that's a good one. So here's the Christ energy. And this energy, if this energy's up in the head and this energy's down in the gut, where's this Christ energy sitting? Right here in the heart. The harmony and love are synonymous. And the yin and yang are harmonized. They achieve harmony by combining the forces. And where does the harmony happen? In the temple of our hearts. And this Christ energy, represented by Jesus, invites us in to a harmonization energy. find them both. I'm not going to argue who's right and wrong in this situation. I'm not going to be upset about all these things. Yeah. So my question to you is, there's a lot of questions here. Here's the first one. How often have we been this guy? And a man, male energy, very good at thinking. This represents in sort of Jungian and in Fillmore's, you're talking this one is all about thinking, and that one's all about feeling, but it's not combining thinking, feeling, and the fullness that leads us to some kind of transformation of what's the best outpicturing of our lives, is when they come together in the heart space and bring love into it, harmony to it, bring the fullness of it, and then they come together, and then we can make the best choice. And how many times, think to yourself, why? I did this reflection. How many times have we ever been so caught up in the actual, I know what's right, I got it figured out, and sorry you don't feel that way, but I got the right answer. Anybody? Oh, you've always got the right answer, don't you? I'm just not feeling it. That's just not where I'm at. I can't go that way. Just let me go and do this thing. Consequences be darned. And there's consequences, and finding that harmonization that the Christ energy brings us. That's his peace we're looking for. Let's just do it. I said it, but I want to do a breath, just a breath. Let me introduce you to this guy one more time. I have a minute here. Yeah. So close your eyes for a second. Just relax into this. This scribe energy that says, you're acting out and you're upsetting the rules, and I need my rules, and I need my stability. I need to feel like the rock of my life. I need to feel like it's all okay. I need to feel like I just can't handle the wild swings of emotional energy that have been facing me right now. There's joys. It's like, do you feel this way sometimes? Every time the phone rings, oh my God, another emotional shock to my system, another big energy. Just put your hands on your heart while we think this through. And we feel that we just want it to all be stable. Think of a situation in your life where you just want it to make sense, and it doesn't. You want it to all outpicture according to your framework of what's right and wrong and how it should work. There's that word that always gets you in trouble, how you should work. And it doesn't. It's not working. It's not outpicturing in the nice, simple, mechanical law system that you want. And keep your hands on your heart. And just let that energy sink into your heart to be transformed. Do you see yourself there sometimes? And now, keeping your hands on your heart, we'll go back over here to our friend who was thrown in front of Jesus on the ground. That emotional energy. And feel for a second in that times you may have said, my feelings, I just felt like I wanted to go in a direction and I didn't want to have to consider consequences. I just wanted to act out. I just felt this way. I just wanted to move forward and just everything that might be telling me are red flags that say, wait a second, consider this. No, I went forward too fast. I acted out too quickly. I maybe didn't think through the consequences enough. Have I been that person? And keeping your hands on your heart, let that energy come into your heart as well. And then finally, just sitting in that energy, just affirming the Christ of the I am energy of ourselves. I am the Christ. All my best thinking and feeling are combined in this heart space energy. I harmonize all the best energies of my life. I will both carry the yin and I'll embrace the yang. I achieve that harmony in my heart from that Christ place that embraces all the best of my wisdom and all the best of my understanding and brings it all together into that heart space. For the fullness of my next best choice, my next best movement forward, my next best decision, the way I'm going to show up, the way I'm going to live on purpose, the way I'm going to let the divine spirit flow through me, live as me, live into my community, live into my actions. I will allow that to happen when I take the best of my thoughts and my feelings, combine them all, achieve a harmony, and find the best way, a best appropriate, most efficient, most effective, most loving, most transformative way of showing up in my life. Yeah, man. There it is. There it is. Okay, coming back to the room. Coming back to the room. You've heard this story many times before. When Jesus went up to the mountain for the transfiguration, who did he take? What 3 disciples did Jesus take with him? Do you remember? Peter, James, and John. The heart center, the wisdom center, the thinking understanding center. Feelings, thinkings, and harmonizing them all for the best next step and way forward. Taking the 10,000 things, cradling the yin and embracing the yang, and achieving harmony by combining the forces into our heart space and coming up with the best loving solution. Oh, you've heard this story before again. Did you ever see Wizard of Oz? Who went with Dorothy? Dorothy's us, right? Each one of us is Dorothy. Who went with Dorothy?
The lion.
Who else?
The Tin Man.
I need a brain, I need a heart, I need my strength and my wisdom. Oh, this story plays out over and over and over, and we know this story. And Dorothy never would have made it back to Oz, never would have made it home without all 3 energies playing out. And Jesus, on his whole journey, constantly, whenever it came up, Peter, James, and John, those 3 power centers harmonizing and living together. Isn't that cool? Okay, so here's the question. This story we showed, this little Jesus story, this little story from the Christ tradition, what do you think the name of this story should be? I'm not going to call it The Women Caught in Adultery, and I'm not even sure I want to call it Throwing Stones. What do you think the name of the story should be? What do you think? Coming to Harmony. Great name of that story. What else? Who else has one?
Getting caught in your own trap.
Getting caught in your own trap. Yeah. Look inside, man. Look inside. Who else has a name for this story?
Writing in the sand.
What is it?
Writing in the sand.
Writing in the sand. By the way, what was Jesus writing in the sand? What do you think? Just whatever you think. We'll never know for sure, but, well, maybe someday you can ask him. But in this incarnation, we don't know for sure. But what do you think Jesus was writing in the sand? What do you think?
Guide me on this.
Oh, you say he prayed. Guide me on this. That's beautiful. What else? Help me. Oh, so it's like a prayer.
Yeah.
I need understanding. Yeah. And maybe I see what's going on. Well, or maybe I don't have time to explain this to all these guys. If they're sitting here with rocks in their hands, let me just hear someone else. What's that?
Take a moment.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, yes. That's another thing. Maybe he wasn't writing anything. Maybe it was this sense of, we just all need to take a breath. We're too crazy. We're too crazy. We need a moment to allow all this to activate into our heart space and make some sense out about our next bright, best, transformative step that'll be in divine order. What will that be? It's too much coming at me at once. And I think, have any of you guys had something where someone says something to you and then like a minute later you go, oh, I wish I would have responded this way. It would have been more loving. It would have been more wonderful. It would have been more, at least I might have helped the situation. Maybe next time something happens to me, I go, I want to say something. I don't know what it is. I'll just get down and start writing on the floor. Try it. I don't know. That might work. Yeah. What else? Who else? One more idea for what was Jesus writing in the sand? Yeah. Make room. Make room. Make room for heart. Make room for the heart. Yeah, maybe he was just writing, go to your hearts, everyone. Go to your hearts. Take a moment. Take some time. I need some time. Give myself a break. I need to set up the table and sit here and harmonize. Yeah. So it's very practical. It's very practical. And since I've been thinking about this, I've noticed how many times, and maybe it's, it's funny, and you can ask yourself the question too. If you find yourself being like in one of these chairs or the other, or maybe you're in this middle Jesus chair and you go to your heart, which place do you, and you don't have to answer this, but ask yourself, when a big energy comes up and the question comes up, something happens, the energy, it's like you're in a situation, all of a sudden you're flushed. All of a sudden you go, oh, this is big. All of a sudden it's like everybody else that heard something, it doesn't bother them, but I'm triggered. What is going on? What is up with me? Ask yourself, which chair am I sitting in right now? And which chair, and how do I get to this one where the spirit doves are? How do I find myself sitting at this table in the place of the Christ, in the place of my heart? And sometimes even when we're in a big issue where there's a lot of tension, you might even, and I've tried this some, I just kind of go, Just put your hand there, Find, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to harmonize that yin and that yang. Something's out of balance. And I want to go back into the harmony in my heart because, when you see a yin-yang sign, you usually see, oh, there's these two things. There's yin and yang, yin and yang. But what are they really? What are you really seeing? You're seeing a circle. You're seeing that the goal is to harmonize them and to be in the one. Okay, stand up. Let's close this way. This is how we'll close, right? Yeah. The Tao gave birth to the one. The one gave birth to the two. The two gave birth to the three. And the three gave birth to the 10,000 things. Lots of stories. The 10,000 things, they cradle the yin, they embrace the yang, and they achieve harmony. Harmony, go to your heart. How? By combining these forces. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Amen.
Am I? I am now. And I am grateful to Frank and in gratitude that Bellingham lent you to us today. And a thought kept coming to me as you were sharing. Years ago, or a time back, I was in conflict with somebody, and it was back and forth, until I came to a conclusion or a question. What if nobody's wrong?
Right.
It helps. Okay, and now it's time for our offering. So put your offerings in your hands. Just feel into giving gratitude for this community as we say that we are grateful for our ongoing gifts and love offerings. You can offer your gift here in the sanctuary, make donations on unitysv.org, or donate by mail. We bless every single gift we receive and love it in the realization as you give, the ministry continues to thrive with what you have given to multiply, pressed down, and it's running over. And as we say, I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. And again, I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. And thank you for your generosity.
Thank you for your love and more, gifts untold, and shelter from the cold. When I'm feeling sad or lonely, you let me know I'm not the only one who's ever been here. Thank you for your gifts and more. That's what I thank you for. Thank you for. Thank you for. Thank you for your gifts and more. That's what I thank you for.
And now it's time to bring forward some beautiful children. Okay. Jeff, you ready for a blessing? Children of light, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are. Yay. And the prayer of protection is next. God surrounds us. Love of God enfolds us. Power of God protects us. Wherever we are, watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right.
You guys want to sing a song?
Yeah, we do.
All right, circle up. Let's do it. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be Sunday.